On a stretch of open road that appeared desolate from a distance, drone operators from the Birds of Magyar unit began their hunt. From the small monitors at the control post, every movement on the ground was clearly visible. There was no hiding place for Russian troops trying to move quickly across the territory. What to them appeared to be a normal rotation route turned into a deadly corridor, watched from the skies by FPV drones ready to strike at any moment. The first attack came when a Russian ATV was spotted driving down the open dirt road. The light vehicle attempted to penetrate the front lines at high speed, perhaps hoping to escape before being detected. However, the Birds of Magyar operators had already locked onto their target, and an FPV drone swooped low along the contours of the ground, accelerating like a live bullet. Within seconds, the drone struck the vehicle, a loud explosion shattering the silence of the terrain, destroying the ATV and sending its rider crashing into the road, now strewn with metal debris. Shortly after, the next target appeared, a UAZ Bukanka minibus, a typical Russian military vehicle often used to transport troops to the front lines. From the air, the vehicle was clearly carrying several personnel. The FPV drone was released again, and the operator directed it with precision, diving straight at the oncoming vehicle. Seconds later, a massive explosion rocked the minibus, and flames and thick smoke immediately engulfed the vehicle, signaling its utter destruction along with the troops inside. Moments later, a pickup truck packed with Russian troops attempted to move along the same route. The vehicle appeared to be carrying a large number of personnel, likely to reinforce the front line. From the perspective of the surveillance drone, the soldiers were seen huddled tightly in the back of the truck, unaware of the danger approaching from the sky. With swift maneuvering and precision, the drone struck the most heavily armored part of the vehicle. The subsequent explosion was far more powerful. The truck came to a complete stop while a blast wave swept through the surrounding area. In one hit, both the logistics vehicle and the group of troops inside were immobilized. On the front lines, the few remaining Russian soldiers sought cover in ditches and roadside ditches, realizing they were being pursued. But the Birds of Magyar's aerial surveillance gave them no room to breathe, and the other FPV drones began to pursue the remaining targets one by one. Every small movement was instantly detected, and every attempt at concealment ended with a precision blast. The operators aimed the drones at enemy positions visible in the open ground, striking them before they could move. In no time, the path that had once been a troop movement route had turned into a field of destruction, strewn with burned-out vehicles, metal debris, and forcibly abandoned positions. For the Birds of Magyar unit, this operation was just another episode in the relentless pursuit of the modern battlefield, where the skies were no longer a safe haven, but a domain dominated by drones, ready to strike at any moment. Currently, the Ukrainian military is conducting a planned offensive operation, during which it has already liberated almost the entire territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region. Major General Oleksandr Komarenko, head of the main operational directorate of Ukraine's General Staff, in an interview with RBC Ukraine said, "The offensive in the Oleksandrivsky direction is being carried out by airborne assault and assault troops, with the support of mechanized brigades defending the sector. This is a planned offensive operation that has passed all the procedures of approval, coordination, etc. And the form of warfare has changed. The content of operations, battles, and combat actions is different, can be described as a full-fledged offensive operation," Komarenko said. Komarenko said Ukrainian forces have already liberated more than 400 square kilometers, 154 square miles of territory, while slightly smaller areas have been cleared of Russian units that had managed to penetrate into rear positions. Almost the entire territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region has been liberated. 3 small settlements remain to be completed and 2 more to be cleared, he said. Thanks to these active actions, we have positive dynamics in February. More territory has been liberated than lost. According to Komarenko, Russian troops had been trying to advance toward the region in order to create a so-called buffer zone and continue their offensive operations. Their leadership constantly says that they need the entire Donbass and a buffer zone. Their goal was to create a buffer zone in the Dnipropetrovsk region. That was their intention, their plan, he said. Earlier, on Monday, March 9th, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU, Oleksandr Syrsky, said Ukrainian forces are attempting to seize the operational initiative and force the enemy to play by our rules. For the first time since 2024, when we conducted the Kursk offensive operation, our troops have regained control over a larger area of Ukrainian land in a month than the enemy captured in the same period, Syrsky said. He added that Ukrainian forces continue the counteroffensive operation in the Oleksandrivsky direction. Here, the Airborne Assault Forces Group has regained control over 285.6 square kilometers, 110 square miles, in a month. In total, control over more than 400 square kilometers of territory has been regained since the start of the operation, he wrote. Syrsky also noted that in many other sectors, Ukrainian troops are holding back Russian advances through active defense, while in some areas continuing to make progress. Although Russian forces remain nearly 3 times more numerous, Ukraine's active operations have forced them to postpone planned offensives, patch holes in their defenses, and redeploy troops from other sectors, he said. A report by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, said Ukrainian forces liberated more territory than they lost during the last 2 weeks of February 2026, marking their first net territorial gains since the summer counteroffensive in 2023. ISW analysts estimate Ukrainian troops have retaken about 257 square kilometers, 99 square miles, since January 1st. Ukrainian forces gained nearly 33 square kilometers, 13 square miles, between February 14th and February 20th, followed by another 57 square kilometers, 22 square miles, between February 21st and February 27th, according to the report. The last comparable gains were during Ukraine's summer 2023 counteroffensive, when troops regained 377 square kilometers, 146 square miles, in June and 257 square kilometers in July, before advances slowed.
Я с тепликом, сука, не бачу!